Famous last words. Famous last words. We are taking this time before Easter to look at the words Jesus spoke as he was heading to the cross and looking at those specific times. So we talked about the Last Supper 2 weeks ago when we took communion together, and we talked about how Jesus made something ordinary into something extraordinary and how we created a time of remembrance. Last week, we talked about Jesus' time in the garden when he trusted God with his future and what was coming. And today, we're going to look at a time just like in between those two things when Jesus prayed with his disciples. But before we jump into that, who here has ever heard the phrase, opposites attract? Opposites attract. We've all heard opposites attract. That works in magnet class, my favorite subject in school, magnet class, but it doesn't work in real life, right? It doesn't work in real life. Opposites don't attract in real life. We think that's true, like, especially if you look at me and my wife. I am very loud, I'm very obese, my wife is very quiet, she's very, smaller, and so you would tend to think, opposites attract. And in some ways that's true, like you do see kind of the differences, but really we're drawn to people who are like us. We like people who see the world like we do. If you think about like your closest friends, they're the ones who love the same shows as you, who love the same music as you, who love the same things that you do. You're not the same person. You do have differences. But for the most part, they're people who love what you love. If you love friends, they probably love friends. And so you guys talk, you're like, did you see what Rachel did in 1999? And we have those because we're attracted to people who are like us. We want to hang out with people who see and like the same things we do because it's more comfortable. It's easier going with them. My youth pastor would tell me, black sheep are attracted to black sheep, white sheep are attracted to white sheep, brown sheep are attracted to brown sheep. We're naturally drawn towards people who are similar to us. And this isn't a good or a bad thing. This is just a real life thing. And if we want to be people who are diverse and different, we have to be intentional about those things. Because otherwise we're going to naturally drift towards hearing and thinking and hanging around with people who think the way we do. When it comes to other people, we are going to run into differences. Anytime, and you've experienced this, right? Because you hang out with other humans. So whether you're in small group or you're at school or you're doing a group project or you're playing even video games online, that was one thing, as I play video games online, I'm a very task-driven person. If there's an objective in the video game, I think we should all be going for the objective. You shouldn't be flying over there doing I don't know what. You should be getting the flag. There's a There's a beacon. It says get. You go and you get. Anyway, I'm sorry. But and so maybe you've experienced this. You've done a group project, and you are if you are like me, and you find group projects to be a great time to give other people work. That's not you? No. I'm the worst person in your group. I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm going to be the leader, so I'm just going to make sure everybody's doing their project. And that's my project. So you hate those people, right? Like, and then you have those people who are very like, we have to do this, and this is what the teacher said, and we're going to make this happen. And I'm kind of like, oh, those are good guidelines. And you butt heads with those people. See, anytime you experience and you hang out with other human beings, you're going to run into differences. And those differences lead to disunity. Those differences lead us into disunity, of not being on the same page, of causing frustrations. And you've been there when you've been trying to do one thing and the people in your group are trying to do another thing, and it causes disunity. You have an idea of what's fun, or maybe this is more specifically has happened. Your parents have had an idea of what's fun, and they want you to do that fun thing, and it's not actually that fun. So you kind of complain and frustrate and whine and spend the whole time on the phone, and that causes disunity, where eventually your mom says, "Get off that dumb thing, and I'm going to take it away, and we're turning this van around." And maybe just my mom? Okay. But differences can lead to disunity, and disunity will eventually derail us. The goal of where we're going and the end of our time as a group will become disrailed if we allow disunity to take hold. So if you think about inside of your school projects, the goal is to create a fantastic group project. But if you let the frustration and the disunity and the hitting each other, not physically, but emotionally, take root, disunity will derail you, and your fantastic group projects will become derailed, will become messed up, will become an F, and it'll ruin your perfect score. And there is, and inside Jesus's crew, this also was true, that there was the ability to be derailed and cause disunity. And tonight we're going to look at it, and this is the time when Jesus got with his disciples and prayed. And I want you to think about, this is his last prayer with his friends and family. This is the last time. And so you think about, like, if we were to go around and ask for prayer requests right now, you'd all have different things like, hey, help me with algebra. Hey, help me with science. Hey, help me get through the next 10 days until Avengers Endgame comes out, which I already bought my tickets for. And so, what are you shaking your head, Shannon? You know what I'm shaking. So and we would go around, and we would all say, I'd say, like, my phone's really bothering me right now. Hey, can I just get a new phone? I'm praying for a new phone. And those are all important. Those are all key things. But if this is your last prayer, the last time you are going to pray with your friends and family before you die, you're probably not going to pray about Avengers. You're probably, I'm not saying definitely, but probably, you're not going to pray about your phone. You're not going to pray about your math tests. You're going to pray for a bigger, grander thing. Think about that time at the end of your life. This is your last time on this earth to pray for your friends. What would you say? It's a big moment. And Jesus is faced with this moment when he's with his friends, he's with his disciples, and he's thinking, what am I going to pray for them? And so he, luckily for us, John, one of his disciples, wrote it down so we would be able to see what Jesus' prayer is at the end of his life. And this is what it says, Jesus 17:20. I'm praying not only for these disciples, but for all who will ever believe in me through their message. So he is talking about us. So if you're a follower of Jesus, if you're checking out this Jesus thing, he is saying, hey, I'm praying for you right now. If you know this message, which we do because John was a disciple of Jesus and he passed that down and we're reading it right now, I'm praying not only for these disciples, but also for all who will ever believe in me through his message. He continues, I pray that they will all be one, just as you and I are one. As you are in me, Father, I am in you. So he's saying, I want unity for these people who are Jesus followers, who have heard the message and changed their lives. I want them to have unity. So it continues on. and may they be in us so that the world will believe that you sent me. May they be in us. May they be a part of this movement. May they have your spirit in you so that the world will believe. There's power in unity, and the world takes notice when we as Christians follow Jesus. He continued, but he doesn't stop there. This is awesome. I have given them the glory you gave me so that they may be one as we are one. I am in them and you are in me. He's talking about the Holy Spirit that comes into us when we become followers of Jesus. He has given us power to create unity, because here's the deal. Not everybody is like me. I know it's sad, but it's true. And not everybody's like me. And some people actually, this isn't a vast majority, it's only about 95% of the population, don't like me. And they don't want to hang out with me. I don't get it. Again, not a vast majority, only 95%. And but because of the Spirit, there's the power to be able to say, hey, you know what? The Carl guy, he ain't that bad. There are times, not often, when he's kind of funny. So he said, because we have the Spirit, that we can have unity, even though we're different, even though we come from different places, even though we think different things, even though we like different things. I might like country music. You might like hip hop. You may be about Taylor Swift, and you may be about Kanye. And they don't like each other, right? That's what I think. I think I heard that on the internets. And so, Tumblr, I don't know. It was on like the Twitters. But no matter where you are, we can find common ground and we can hang out together because the God's Spirit is in us if we're a follower of Jesus. But he continues on. May they experience such perfect unity that the world will know that you sent me and that you love them as much as you love me. Whoa. May our church have such unity. May we as a group be so united that people come in, know that they are loved because we love each other. That's a powerful kind of unity. That's a powerful kind of acceptance. That's a powerful kind of love. Finally, he wraps it up. Oh, I'm sorry. With the emphasis. That the world will know that you sent me. See, we're here, and the reason we're here isn't just so, which is a big part. Like, I want everybody in this room to feel loved and have a place. But I also want everybody who's outside of here to be able to come in and feel that love and to feel that unity and to know that they have a place. Our unity isn't just for our sake. It isn't just so I feel comfortable. Have you ever had that where you and your best friend were jiving and things were like, oh, this is awesome. I have my best friend. We're snapping snap streaks. And then all of a sudden a new kid shows up or they start hanging out with somebody and there's competition. And all of a sudden it's Gladiator on your phone. And you're like, are they going to snap me back? How long? It's been 15 seconds. And you're like, what am I going to do? They're probably texting Jeff. And we get frustrated and we get hurt. And we create competition, right? Not so inside the church. Not so inside this group. Where there's not a, who does Brian like more? Who does Anna like the best? Me. Well, there's unity. We're combined together. And that when people come in, they could see our group not as a back, but as a welcome. Not as in a, hey, we're all talking over here, but in a, Join our group, yo. You can add the yo or not. That's up to you. See, this unity is a big deal. And our unity will make his message more believable. Our unity will make God's message more believable. And because we hear about the frustration people have in churches, we hear about the backbiting, the gossip, the mean-spiritedness, the pushing around. And that discredits the message of Jesus. That pushes away and validifies what people believe about the church. Oh, they are just us four no more. They are too holy for themselves. Oh, they aren't accepting or kind. But if we can create unity, it'll make Jesus' message more believable. And our disunity will cause disbelief. Our disunity will cause disbelief. And think about it, that if we were having a conversation and I was just like, oh, that Dan, he is such a tool. I don't know what he's thinking, but the entire aroma around him is gym sock. And did anybody notice that he farts when he sings? Like, if I just said those things, you would be like, I thought Carl, liked him. Especially if all of a sudden Dan walked in the room. I was like, Dan, great job, man. I think you're the best. Have you thought about going pro? Or what do they call it? Like, YouTube famous? I don't know what that's TikTok famous. Have you thought about going TikTok famous? If we're having that conversation, if we're honest, we're having that conversation, you're walking away from it saying, I believe Carl. I don't think I trust Carl. I don't think Carl's that nice. And I don't know if I want to be a part of this group if that's the way Carl talks about his friends. You're for real a friend. Right? And you're not going to want to come back and be a part of a group like that. Now here's the thing. This is the tension part. This is the hard part. Because people around us are different. People around us have quirks that we don't like. People around us frustrate us. And if you're like me, I'll be honest and raw right now, I think if more people thought like me, the world would be a better place. And you can agree or disagree. I don't need to know. And I tend to put it on the person, right? If Dan would jest, if Anna would jest, if Brian would jest, then life would be better. Then we could get together. Then we could be happy. If they would just change themselves. But unity starts with you. But unity starts with you. You are the person who initiates unity. You are the person who is in control of your emotions. You are the person who creates the friendship, who dives and put energy into it. You're not responsible for the other person, but you are responsible for you, and unity starts with you. So how you act, how you talk, how you behave, what you post on social media, how you act in group, how you engage with friends and new people, all starts with you. You're not allowed to say, well, if they would just. You can't put it on other people. Well, if they happen to, if this was more the case. Unity starts with you. You take ownership of it. Our unity as a group is dependent on you. How you choose to act, how you choose to behave, how you choose to speak. Unity starts with you. And if we are going to accomplish the mission Jesus gave us, we must have unity. If we're going to start the mission if we're going to accomplish the mission Jesus gave us of being for Northeastern Pennsylvania, of helping students find their way back to God, we have to create unity. Now, I'm not saying we all have to like the same shows. I'm not saying go into small group and make sure we're all of the same favorite color, we all like the same music, and we're all going to start doing this or that. Our differences is what makes this group awesome and special. The things that make you unique are what make you awesome and special. And why I love having you here. But if you're not willing to engage, to have a conversation, to love on somebody, you're hurting the mission Jesus has here. You're hurting it. And if this is your first time here, if this is your first time in a church, if you've never engaged with Jesus before, I want you to know we're not perfect. We're still figuring this unity thing out. We're still trying to figure out how to be on the same team. But we're fighting hard for it. And if you're dreaming of being at a place that loves you, accepts you, and wants you to get closer to Jesus, this is it. We don't do it perfect. I don't do it perfect. But we're heading that way together, and we'd love for you to join with us. In this Easter season, if you've never heard of a God who loved you so much that he sent his son as a baby to grow up, to die a brutal death on a cross, to be buried for 3 days, to rise again, so that God could spend eternity with you and all your mistakes and all your mess-ups and all your quirks, to spend eternity with you, to invite you to the table, I want to let you know he did. He loves you so much. And before you leave here, one of us small group leaders or myself would love to talk to you about how you can admit that you've messed up, you've sinned against God, that punishment for sin is death, and that you believe Jesus took that penalty with his death on the cross, that he was buried, dead, he rose again on the third day, and you're going to commit to following him. Admit you're a sinner, believe in Jesus, and commit to following him. And eternal life starts now and lasts forever. And to join part of what we got going on here at 3D. We'd love for you to be a part of that. And now, to practice our unity muscles, small groups, have fun, everybody. We'll see you guys at Easter.